Gentlewoman, kindly blow out the candles, if you will.
Candles? You mean the sun?
Upon my revival, I was immediately confronted with a somewhat dim individual who thought it possible to quench the light of the sun.
Those must be your famous memoirs you're composing. Pinkus van Presswald, quartermaster of this cursed voyage.
Ah, so you do know a little about what is what. Then who are you, if not a severely neglectful steward?
Aethia Monicato, navigator and advisor on this eventful treasure hunt.
A navigator, huh? I wasn't even aware we needed one.
To this day, I'm still unsure what benefits you bring to the table yourself, Quartermaster. Would you like to show us at the training deck?
Ha! I will not deny anyone a demonstration of my brilliance. Oh, good! A venerable buffet ready for me. Let us sample these imagined souls. I must say, Marley, your interpretation of the inside of a zealot's mind is rather dull.
I'll take your feedback under consideration, Quartermaster.
A single coin would not attract the ear of nobility. The zealots, on the other hand...
These coins better not be from our treasury, Quartermaster.
Alas, the handling of our finances is one of my many responsibilities. Rest assured, most of my expenses are above board.
I thirst. Do you...
It is well past lunchtime now. Let us finish these trifling tests, and quickly.
Your value is proven, Quartermaster. Now, return to your quarters, and do whatever it is you do there.
Greetings, Marley. It is with great indignation that I, Pinkus von Presswald, report back for duty.
Quartermaster, I presume the books are going to be back in order soon.
Ah, Marley, must I get back to the drudgeries of everyday work already? I have eternity to get to these books you're so readily teasing me with.
The captain assigned you to the task. If you're unwilling, the skeletons can always use another hand.
Don't we have enough hands already? How many are there, anyway?
An excellent question. Perhaps if you kept the books, we'd have an answer to it.
Oh.
Quartermaster?
Apologies, Marley. My mind must have drifted off momentarily. What were you saying?
The books. Please have a look at them.
Ah, yes, surely. And such books they will be. Generations will revel in these writings, and they'll all know our tale. Let me get right to it. Aethia, I'm sure you came to experience the telling of my arrival on the Marvin.
Well, I was actually just walking by.
Why, I hear you ask, would such a refined, noble gentleman seek hospitality on such a comparably shabby pirate voyage?
No, again, I only happen to be walking by.
Oh, no, don't be shy. It is a good question. See, it all began the day I was born, January the 26th, 1615, which by now is a much-discussed topic in many of my memoirs.
You have multiple memoirs?
Of course. I very early on decided that one such volume wouldn't suffice. But let's not get sidetracked. On that fateful day, I vowed to live a life full of adventure and to record my exploits.
You vowed that on the day you were born?
Well, maybe 14 years later, but who is keeping track, really?
I thought that's precisely what you're doing in your memoirs.
Yes, well observed. Now I've lost myself. Why are you here again?
I actually was just passing by, so no real reason.
Perfect. I don't have time anyway. See, there are already 3 more chapters I have to write down. The first concerns itself with...
Don't worry about explaining it. I don't want to hold you back. See you, Pinkus.
How very considerate. Goodbye, Aethia.
Ahoy, Quartermaster. How are the Marley's finances looking?
And how would I know such a thing?
Are those not our ledgers you're poring over?
Oh, no, please, these are my memoirs. I'm currently musing over a particular paragraph. Would you lend your ear and opinion to me?
All right. Let's hear it then.
January 9th, 1666. Despite his sobriquet, it was rather dark in Louis XIV's library. Yet there I was, showing great resolve and striking determination. I'm sure no other could have faced this situation with the calm and collected poise I possessed at the time. Fearless and dashing, I braved the oppressive darkness, eager to grace the monarch's collection with my distinguished attention. Now, what do you think?
Well, it's something.
Ah, I knew it. It's too humble, isn't it? No, you don't have to say it. My mother always told me I was too modest, but that will not hold true for this volume. Thank you, Aphia. You've already shown great value to this expedition.
You're too kind. Good luck with your memoirs.
A von Presswald never depends on luck for his work, only mild effort and rigorous delegation. But I appreciate the sentiment nonetheless. Marley, I'm happy to inform you that you're starring in the latest chapter of my memoirs.
Is that so, Quartermaster?
I think I'm calling it A Day in a Pirate's Death.
I don't believe I have agreed to such a role.
Blinded by my overwhelming charm, the Marley could do naught but agree to my proposal. Great. Good talk, Marley. Now, I just have to get the right tobacco for this chapter. Ah, yes, I have the perfect one stored in one of the cannons. Let me get it quickly. Vici Vincent. Oh, whoosh. That was a bit unexpected.
Pinkus, is there any reason why you'd open fire on the MTC?
There I stood, staring at the discharged cannon. My tobacco was gone, but I wasn't going to falter.
What are you talking about? Are we under attack?
An attack? That would be an excellent addition to my next chapter.
What does this have to do with your memoirs?
You see, for every new chapter in my memoirs, I need a fitting tobacco, and I had just the perfect one stashed in that cannon.
I see. So naturally, you shot it at the ocean.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. Well, it seems I have to unearth a different tobacco then. Thank you, Aphia. I will certainly get back to you.
I can hardly wait, Pinkus.
For now, I'll have to carefully consider what to fill my pipe with. Say, Aphia, aren't you the, quartermaster on this merry ride?
No, you're the quartermaster, Pinkus.
Really? Ah, how exciting! And what is it a quartermaster does?
Haven't you always been the quartermaster here?
Well, you see, under Mordecai, it was considered more of an honorary title.
A quartermaster keeps tally on the hold, distributes supplies and provisions. They're also responsible for disciplining the crew. But I think the Marley has that covered.
So, I'm in charge?
What? Where did you get that from?
You yourself said I was the master.
Quartermaster, Pinkus.
So, if I was looking for supplies, I'd best ask myself.
Why don't you speak to the Marley? She might be better suited to help you out.
A formidable suggestion. Much obliged, Aphia. Marley, it is I, von Presswald, your quartermaster, speaking.
Since when are you flaunting your job title so readily?
A title is a title, Marley.
So you finally decided to accept your duties.
Duties? You do possess a sliver of humor, Marley. No, I need to create a new tobacco mix for the current chapter of my memoirs. My original one got shot out to sea.
Perhaps you should bother Pete and Nameless about such things.
Ah, yes. Do you happen to recall where they stand?
At the stern.
Stern, like my father's attitude.
Look in the direction we are moving, and then turn around.
Ah, I see. I think it is, they say. Good snout. Good, let's see. The direction the ship is moving towards should be the opposite of where the wind is facing. Or maybe I have that exactly wrong. I will have a look at both ends, then. Likely a poor choice. Wait, this scent.
Oh, that is good tobacco.
Gentlemen, may I inquire where you obtained that tobacco?
Some skelly found it in a cannon and traded us for it. Look, that fellow's here is smoking.
Ah, it may be appropriate to add that I'm the rightful owner of what you're smoking there.
Really? Well, nothing we can do there, Pete. Unless we don't give it to him.
I must insist. I'm the quartermaster, after all.
The quartermaster, eh? Look, here's a proposition. We'll trade you for it.
In the end, the vile thieves could do naught but negotiate. I suppose a bit of conflict won't hurt this chapter. I will see what I can do. But for now, I must retire to my chambers. There is much to ponder and write about.
Up it you.
Afia, I have a request for you.
Want me to join you in another assault on the MTC?
No, I'm in dire need of your authoritative aura. I've been robbed and need the culprits to return what they've stolen from me.
Just so I understand you correctly, you complain about theft on a pirate ship.
I am, and they've not just taken any old trumpery, but my prized tobacco.
Well, by the authoritative aura that you've attested me with, I grant you the right to steal it back.
Yes, I suppose that will do.
Glad to be of service, Quartermaster.
Thanks so much. I will get right to it. Let me possess a skeleton and talk to Pete and the Nameless One. Surely they won't see through my rules. Being left to my own devices, there was only one thing I could turn to. My own devices. To see. I really need that tobacco back. I have to get a new coat anyway. Good. Now I only have to convince them that I'm the skeleton they traded the tobacco with. Greetings!
Hey, Pete, look! A skeleton. What does it want?
Tobacco back!
It wants its tobacco back, Pete. Well, then there's a little we can do.
Even these great foes didn't stand a chance when confronted with my endless cunning.
Wait a minute, Pete. Something's not right here. Huh? It's the poor skeletal feller, and he just wants his tobacco back, right?
Yes. Tobacco back?
See? There's nothing we have to worry about.
After nearly blowing my cover, my opponents were once again unaware of my true identity.
That eloquent muttering? That's no skeleton. It's you, Pinkus.
Oh, curses! Once again, the urge to continue my memoirs demands its sacrifice. What do you want then, fiends? I need my tobacco back.
I think we could be convinced to part with that stuff if you brought us something way worse. He means better, don't you, eh? Way better.
At least that is something I can work with. Something better than my tobacco. I'll have to think about that for a while. Excuse me, young lady of the flowers.
I'll plant a fist in your groin if you call me that again.
Ah, to be young and passionate again. Now, it seems you're occupied with one of your endearing experiments.
I'm trying to extract the essence of a boy plant to see if it can be applied reversely to our foes. If you just came here to waste my time, I'll just continue to do that.
No. You see, Pete and the Nameless One have taken interest in a tobacco that is quite dear to me. And I was wondering, hoping, actually, that you have something that they would enjoy even more.
Those two are powerful souls. Must be strong stuff if they got a taste for it. I believe the only thing of similar potency is black moss.
Black moss?
Aye. Waves have been high enough for the last few days, so the bough's probably overgrown with it.
Oh my, the side of the ship. Unfortunately, I do have a certain antipathy to heights. And also, I can't swim.
How in Blackbeard's name did you make the cut, Pinkus?
Well, I usually let others do the work for me. Speaking of just that, would you collect the moss for me?
Not a chance.
Ah, it never hurts to ask. Maybe a skeleton could help me out then.
You sure I can't sway you somehow?
Nuh-uh.
The black
I'm not
moss
your
can
private
only be
grocer,
reached
mate.
by water. I definitely won't be swimming there myself. Let me possess a skeleton. Let's change perspective. Got it. That must be the moss Sulady was talking about. Pete and the Nameless One will surely be happy with that. Gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be back.
Ah, Pinkus.
What's it gonna be this time?
Wait. How can we be sure it's not a skeleton disguised as Pinkus?
Well, whomever you decide me to be, may I present to you black moss?
Not bad. You climbed down the side of the ship. Didn't think you had it in you.
Thus he stood, basking in glorious hymns of praise.
You take your stuff then. Unfortunately, there's basically nothing left.
Only to be brought back to reality quite harshly. That is truly all that's left.
That's right. We used up the rest. As we said, it was quite good tobacco.
Ah, you manky heaps of bones! Have you no decency?
I'd say about as much as the amount of tobacco you've got left. And that's being generous.
Well, setbacks are part of many great quests. What's done is done, I suppose. What shall I do? I suppose I need to talk to the ship doctor and hope she will indulge me again. But I will give her some time. I think she's not yet ready for another squall of my astounding presence.
What is it now, Pinkus? Pete and Nameless don't like the black moss?
No, they were happy about it, but had already used up most of my reserves. Do you think it possible to grow more of this?
Let's look. Sure, I can grow more of it, no problem. But I need a favor first.
They stood eye to eye, barely twitching. Would they come to an accord? Nobody knew.
I take that as a yes?
Please do. Yes.
Great. I've recently fixed up this skelly, and I need you to check if it's all there up in the old noggin.
So you want me to get into the mind of this skeleton here?
And follow a couple of instructions, yes.
Nothing I can't afford.
Great. Now move around a little bit.
Right away. I must say, Sir Lady, it's quite endearing being part of your little experiments.
Aye, and there's more I need you to do. Lift that crate over there.
Lifting? Is that really necessary?
It's very important, Pinkus.
Ah, things of importance. That is, of course, where I excel the most.
Now, how does that feel?
It is rather heavy.
Heavy? Ah. How would you describe the heaviness?
Sort of the straining kind.
All right, thank you. Carry it over there, please. It's, essential to my research.
Ah, essential, of course.
Good job, Pinkus. Could you perceive the very essential experience you just went through?
I mean, considering its essentiality, it was, of course, quite marvelous. Carrying that extraordinarily heavy crate around.
Great, thanks. Now, there's a couple of lamps I need to snuff out.
Lamps? Really? Isn't that something an actual skeleton could handle?
Nah, they only light the lamps. I want to see if they can smother a flame in case of emergency.
Ah, yes. You never want to be underprepared for such eventualities, of course. Now, how was that?
Huh?
The lamp. Didn't I douse it very gracefully?
Oh, yeah, you did.
You're sure you need me to repeat that?
Aye. Might seem stupid to you, but repetition is crucial in science.
Ah, I of course knew that myself. I just wanted to see if we were still on the same page.
Sure we are. Grand. Now, one last check. Your auditory functions. Ask old Gertrude how she's doing.
Oh, are you truly convinced that this is necessary? I mean, I can hear you quite clearly.
It rounds off the experiment. Wouldn't want to put all that work in jeopardy now, would we?
Well, no. Let's get to her then.
And remember, I need you to really listen to her.
Greetings, Gertrude. How are you doing today?
Teresa! Finally, somebody decent enough to ask this old figurehead how she's doing. Oh, I don't even know where to begin. 3 weeks ago, a turtle was nibbling on my rib cage, and nobody heeded my calls for help. Just because I don't feel it, it doesn't mean it isn't there, you know.
Definitely. You see, I have to...
And then these charlatans, Pete and the nameless one, they send their little creatures over here teasing me, like I'm some kind of scarecrow. If I were a couple of centuries younger, they'd crumble at the thought of mocking me. And do you know how long I've been asking the Marley to sail backwards just once? She's not the one forever pounded by waves, is she?
Ah, all of that sounds horrible, Gertrude. I didn't know you were facing all these difficulties.
Oh, thank you so much, my dear. Getting all that off my chest already feels rather wonderful.
I'm glad I could help. Now, what are the results of the experiment?
3.53.
3.5... Is it possible, Sir Lady, that you've just mocked me?
Oh, entirely possible, yes.
So talking to old Gertrude was part of that sham, too?
Somebody has to listen to her once in a while. Get some of that weight off her soul. Chin up, Pinkus. You did a good deed today. Now hand over that tobacco and be patient.
You know, 6 chapters of my memoirs are entirely devoted to my patients already. I was actually considering whether...
And done. There.
That was quick. And that's twice as much as I had before. Would you be willing to describe this process in detail to me?
Really? Including all the big science words?
Especially them. My memoirs are desperately lacking a scientific perspective. And I don't know if that sort of thing interests you, but now that I've got that much tobacco, I'd happily share.
Yeah, why the hell not? I've been working all day. Here, gimme. Now I know why you wanted to get that back. Now, on to the process. First, I had to get the soul energy structure, what you gave me. Wasn't much left, so I had to pull a few tricks or it would have been a bust. And that's how I did it.
Astounding, really. How have we never talked about all this before?
You never asked.
It seems it's equally important to listen to you once in a while, then. You've given me much to write about. I'll have to withdraw to my study to put the finishing touches on this chapter. Thanks again, Sulady.
See you around, Pinkus. And don't forget that copy you promised me, autographed and all.
Don't worry. That request is already part of my memoirs. Likely a poor choice. It's often at the end of my chapters when I have the strong urge to rewrite its title. As it turns out that no one day in the life of a pirate is like the other. On some days you may be robbed and swindled of your belongings. On others you'll possess a skeleton to collect moss with the texture of bird droppings. But on the best of them, you learn about the endless intricacies of soul energy structure and seed multiplication. And, most importantly, spend time with your astounding crewmates who make this adventure all the more exciting. Oh, such tragedy! A broken mirror.
How is that a tragedy?
How would I marvel at my magnificent countenance with all these shards floating around?
Please, just look at it, Quartermaster.
I suppose I could try to get a glimpse of myself in this reflective debris.
Pinkus, if you're hearing this, I'm dead and gone. That makes you the oldest man aboard. Remember when you once told me about that servant you had? What was his name again? Never mind. Can't hear you anyway. But I distinctly remember you saying you left him somewhere.
Yeah, Sebastian. He wasn't supposed to. Well, all right. There seems to have been a anticipation on my part. Indeed, there is someone who I'll have to face before I can pass whatever tribulations the captain envisions.
And here I was trembling at the thought of what the mirror might pull from your dogged sword.
Yes, I had a couple of great dogs, very reliable. But no, the captain is talking of Sebastian, my loyal servant.
Great. We just find him and you talk things out? Easy work.
Yes, it was admittedly a while ago, but I'm very optimistic he's still where I last saw him.
Tell me, and I'll set a course.
In prison. More precisely, the dungeons of the Iron Bay.
We are close to the Iron Bay. Now your servant, you left him in a prison.
Haven't we all done things that we aren't particularly proud of?
Do you at least remember in which cell he was?
Of course, of course. What kind of barbarian forgets where they left their most trusted acquaintance? He is right there.
That cell is rather empty.
Indeed. Naught but a minor setback. Yeah, I remember them keeping particularly tight records. As they are not of those who cast away traditions lightly, I presume they still have them there. Ah, yes, there they are, tightly perused by a diligent prognosticar. Wearing the form of one of their acolytes should allow me to read about Sebastian's whereabouts. So long as the prognosticar is not looking directly at me while I browse his files. Alas, it is a risk I must take. Now, Athea, would you be so kind and choose our landing?
I wonder, Quartermaster, what made you come here in the first place?
Aha! I always wanted to experience the insides of a prison. The real one, you see, not these petty cellars my family calls Kerker. So, of course, I set out and tried to get ourselves in prison.
Your naivety is truly exceptional.
My dear Marley, you sound just like Sebastian.
So how did you get yourself imprisoned?
It was surprisingly easy, actually. I just needed to display my abilities once, and we were in there faster than I could have hoped for. They do grant you a really swift trial once you're accused of using magic. Lucky us.
Lucky you, rather, since you're the one who is not in prison anymore.
Yes, it doesn't take much to soak up all the nuances of a prison cell. Thus, I broke out and told Sebastian to wait for me until I would find a way to free him. Which, gloriously, I'm doing now.
Counted for. Right.
Here I was again in the prison of my past, heroically returning to save my old servant and companion.
Are you composing your memoirs again?
Certainly. A good word is never to be left astray.
But a companion is?
Touché.
Sense down. No one is allowed to peruse my writings.
I could spend hours going through such meticulous records.
Please don't.
From what I can gather, Sebastian is not listed as an inmate anymore. But it seems they throw the worldly belongings of released prisoners on a pile just outside the prison. Maybe we can pick up his trace there. Ah, well, that's odd. These are mostly bones. Why would they... let me have a look.
Count von Presswald, is that you?
Sebastian, there you are! Wonderful! It must have been, what, 3-4 weeks since we've parted ways?
30 years, my lord.
Oh, my! Time does fly, doesn't it? You must have many a tale worth putting in the annex of my memoirs. So, let's gather up your belongings and leave this wretched place. Calm now, Sebastian. No more dilly-dallying. It has been 30 years already.
My lord, have you not noticed that I am dead?
Dead? Oh, yes, you are rather pale-looking now that you mention it. When did that happen?
7 years ago.
Yet you're still here?
I promised I would stand firm and wait for your return.
Oh, that is very commendable, Sebastian.
Yes. Now, would my lord lower himself to gather my remains and carry me off this pile of junk?
Ah, the burdens of nobility. I will grant you this boon. Let's leave now.
Yes, my lord. Of course. Is there any particular reason my lord was held up for such an extended time?
Oh, so many, Sebastian. Soon after we parted, I met a man called Mordecai.
Black Eye Mordecai? The pirate captain?
Exactly. And to nobody's surprise, he made me quartermaster of the Red Marlin. Admittedly, I mostly use the ink and paper they provide to work on my memoirs.
So, my lord signed on a pirate ship and continued writing his memoirs for the last 30 years.
Yes, in fact, there's an enormous backlog of proofreading for you to get to. Marley, I'm back, and I brought Sebastian here with me. Welcome on the Marley, Sebastian, your new home. You may rest in front of my cabin.
Gracious as always, Quartermaster.
Ah, and this is the Marley herself speaking. She can be a bit frightening, but eventually you'll get used to each other.
That seems most unlikely.
Hello, Ship Marley.
You're already getting along beautifully. Now, let's face that mirror together and get this farce over with.
A mirror, my lord.
Ah, just some misguided magical device insisting that you and I are in a quarrel. So, dear shattered mirror, I present to you Sebastian.
Good day.
Is this thing on?
I presume the mirror will only speak when it is satisfied.
What else could it want? I've righted my wrongs, if you insist on calling them that, and everybody is happy.
My lord, forgive my forwardness, but I believe I know what the holdup could be.
Huh? Oh, well, go on then, Sebastian. It's not like this magical mirror here is deferring to my attempts at conversation.
I have had a long time to reminisce during the many years you have left me behind. I'm not sure I can continue anymore.
Sebastian, all this time of being a pile of bones must have gotten to your head.
Doesn't my lord agree that carrying the remains of his old servant would only hold him back?
You do have heavy bones, Sebastian. What is it you want, then?
A burial by the Maiden's judgment, my lord.
Oh, please, surely I've judged you plenty enough in the past.
The Maiden's judgment concerns itself purely with one's conviction and devotion to the Maiden's sacrifice. It has nothing to do with inconsiderate words my lord has uttered over the years.
And where would we need to go for this?
Gran Alcazar, my lord.
Ah, to break into their fortress once again, to evade their scrutiny and laugh in their faces.
No, my lord, I merely...
So there is one more adventure to be had. Pack my bag, Sebastian. We're going to your funeral.
Such a formidable church. But there appears to be no confessor in sight.
Confessor? Why should we concern ourselves with such a lowly being?
They are trained to perform the Maiden's judgment, to see that it is done properly.
I have spied one of the Guardians.
It seems he has taken a stroll. Does my lord think that he could take a peek into that confessor's mind to learn about the Maiden's judgment?
Learn? From Presswald, never.
Quartermaster.
Oh, well, as usual, only the best for my servants. Avia, would you kindly choose an appropriate landing again?
Anyone?
Sebastian, are you certain that you don't want me to say some words of my own when we send you off?
I would like it to be a bit more sacerdotal than your usual ramblings, my lord.
Ah, Sebastian, what you denote as ramblings is my renowned ability to rally crowds.
My lord surely is referring to the time he rallied his sister's wedding party.
Yes, of course. The crowd was so enraptured after my speech.
Yes. Your sister was very glad you reminded everyone that her spouse was going to be her third attempt at marriage.
Now, let me see. A grand and many things to say and do. It seems that usually for this procedure they use the Beacon of Judgment. This confessor has a lousy memory. He doesn't remember any of the things he is supposed to say. He just reads them off one of those iron slabs that are stored in the scriptorium.
Do you think we could acquire such a slab to assure that the words uttered at my judgment are in accordance with the maiden's teachings?
Certainly, Sebastian. Additionally, equipment to ignite the beacon is to be found close by. And some iron dust to sprinkle on the remains should be taken as well. These seem to be all the things. Let's get them swiftly.
A worthy memory. The fight begins.
How far do you and Pinkus go back, Sebastian?
I've seen to Pinkus since he was born.
Sebastian was the only servant who remained loyal after the von Presswald estate fell to bankruptcy. Now he is working for the honor of serving our house.
My lord, I have followed you under the impression that you would at least attempt to repay me for my services.
Ah, Sebastian, but I did. It's just that there were so many other necessary expenses to be covered.
Like the cakes coated in gold foil?
Especially those. And you're still certain that you want to do this?
Try to hide.
You
I'm not
know
fully in control.
you'll always have a place at my side, Sebastian.
That is
I can't
very
hold
kind,
myself
my
back.
lord.
Hide if
But
you
I've
can.
made my peace with the maiden. Now I just want to bask in her glory.
Careful when I get you.
And
There's
I thought I
nothing
knew
can promise
your
I won't
type.
do.
Type, my lord?
I didn't expect that you'd long for the embrace of a
Apologies.
centuries-old
Is anybody
burn
hurt?
victim.
It is funny you should speak to my preferences in these matters, my lord.
Funny? How?
Didn't your last affair involve a courtier that arguably was a cousin of yours?
Ah, yes. I always struggled to untangle the intricacies of my family.
Commence the right of inquiry.
Quickly, look at all these books. One could be reminded of the time when we broke into Louis XIV's library.
Yes, my lord. Even in death, my back still hurts when I think about carrying all those books out of there.
Well, good reading comes at a price, doesn't it?
My lord, you never actually read one of them.
Who'd have thought they'd all be in French? Darn language nobody can make sense of. If we'd known Gael at the time, she could have translated them for us.
I admit I would have liked to take a peek at these books.
Let's see, what does it say? Iron, fire, burning of the maiden, the voice of the flame, judgment. Again, I'm certain I could muster up words of much greater sacrosanctity.
Have you ever given a eulogy before, my lord?
Sebastian, surely you haven't forgotten the speech I gave at my Uncle Richard's funeral?
That was a eulogy? Oh, I was under the impression that you were attempting to open a buffet.
That was a beneficial side effect, I admit. Even in death, Uncle Richard was stingy with the food.
A poor showing for a nobleman to keep their guests hungry.
Right, Toya. Why else would one attend such a gathering if not for the food? These are the matchsticks? An odd thing to be considered sanctified.
They burn with the smallest essence of maiden's fire, and are practically inextinguishable.
Ah, we could have used such a thing in those oversized tombs in Giza.
We had our torches, my lord, until you decided to start a ruckus with the local fauna.
These spitting monsters, but to think that they ride them around like mere horses.
7 blades.
This is the dust. Now, what would one do with a bag of weighty dirt at a funeral?
Sprinkling the iron dust of the maiden on the burning pyre symbolizes her willingness to burn alongside us.
Does the procedure require the entire bag?
Yes, my lord. And you may not have 1 ounce for that pipe of yours. I think we have all the things required.
Yes, it seems so. Well then, no more time to waste, I suppose. Let us start the ritual. The burdens of nobility. Here we are.
Indeed we are. My lord, are you ready?
Yes, of course. When have I ever not been?
Well, there was that one time at your 6th wedding.
Oh, please, let's not talk about that one, Sebastian. Yeah, I wanted to say...
Yes, my lord?
Never mind. Let's get on with it. Are you ready, Sebastian?
I am, my lord.
Dearest maiden, bringer of fire who has been judged in our name, hear me and light your beacon. You who have walked this path before, grant us the wisdom of your judgment. I, Pinkus von Presswald, bring you Sebastian, who has come to finish the enlightened journey of his life. He asks you to relieve him of his burdens and lays his worldly soul before you. He is ready to be judged, as you have been judged before us. You shall now speak for yourself, Sebastian Hebhardt.
I, Sebastian Hebhardt, give myself to the judgment of the fire. May it test the conviction of my soul, and should I be found wanting, let it consume me.
Sebastian, is it... are you... Ah, I see. I have at times, if not always, failed to show proper appreciation for your sacrifices, Sebastian. You were without doubt the finest companion any man could ask for. Today I lay to rest no servant, but my dearest friend, whose memory would be any pirate's greatest treasure, and I count myself among the richest, for it is mine.
Thank you, my lord.
Sebastian, you're back. Did you change your mind?
No, my lord. It takes a while to burn a soul in its entirety.
Ah, I see. I just thought...
For what it is worth, my lord. I am glad I held out a little longer, but it is time now, my friend. May your soul always illuminate the dark.
Yours too, Sebastian. Oh.
He's gone, Quartermaster. Truly, this time.
I understand. I suppose we ought to leave this place, then. Yes. I suppose I ought to visit that mirror again. That won't be a challenge.
Pinkus?
Hmm?
The mirror is ready for you.
I assumed it would be. Well, my reflecting friend, what do you think?
If you wish to, I can stabilize the mirror a bit longer so you can attend your hair.
Ah, I thank you, Marley. But for today, my personal vanity will rest, and I'll keep my thoughts with Sebastian. That said, if you ever feel the need for a distracting chat, I would not be disinclined. There he was, fending off Louis XIV's honor guard while carrying several heavy tomes. Oh, yes, please?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. What are you writing about?
The current chapter is about Sebastian and me breaking into Louis XIV's library.
Well, well. So he was the one fighting several soldiers.
Oh, yes, he was a magnificent swordsman at the time. Truly a sight to behold. I don't think I would have managed to get out of my own castle's gardens without him.
He has earned a place in your memoirs, then.
Well, Sebastian was already in many chapters, just maybe not in the best light. So I thought I'd go through them, as they certainly deserve a bit of retouching. Speaking of... where was I? Oh, yes. After he had fought off all of our foes, I didn't dare to tell him that I couldn't speak any French at all, which rendered these books we had stolen entirely useless to me. But the adventure was one I will always remember gladly.